Grand Theft Auto 6 might be the most important video game release in history. And that's not just because it's Grand Theft Auto. Right now, the entire video game industry is looking at GTA based on what it represents. The pricing, the expectation, and what happens next if Rockstar gets this right or somehow gets it wrong. Because for months now, there's been this growing conversation about what Grand Theft Auto is actually gonna end up costing. Rumors of the over $100 game, and concerns about this driving video game prices up across the entire industry. And when Take-Two CEO Strauss Zelnick was asked about it, this is what he said. Consumers pay for the value that you bring, and our job is to charge way less of the value delivery. How you feel about something you buy is the intersection of the thing itself and what you pay for. Consumers need to feel like the thing itself is amazing and the price they were charged was fair for what they got. Which honestly sounds great because it makes you think that they are going to deliver things at the price that you expect. But when GTA is supposed to be the biggest entertainment release of all time, then maybe that does leave room to charge a little bit more. This could be the game that sets the tone for the entire industry going forward. Because if GTA 6 launches at a higher price, everyone is going to follow them. And that means we're going to be leaping to a brand new price point, one that we're never going to drop from. So this isn't really about whether GTA will actually be worth it. It's about what's going to happen to the industry when it launches. There's an argument to be made that gaming is now cheaper than it ever has been before. And that's because of how accessible games are to everyone. You have games of literally all price points. You have games that are free. You have more free games than you've ever had before. You have games that are given to you monthly through services like Epic Game Store. You have free weekends on Steam, and then you have games that go on sale literally all the time. Something that didn't happen 10 or 20 years ago. In fact, there was almost no free games back then unless you were playing something like Freddy Fish that came inside a cereal box. So to have the ability to spend less on games now, and I'm not talking about hardware because everybody knows hardware is expensive, and if you want to hear more on this topic, I made a video about it, and I also talked with Colin Moriarty here, and we both went into very deep detail about the current pricing of games. But where this whole price thing can change is with the launch of Grand Theft Auto. You see, this is supposed to be not only the biggest game ever, it's also the most expensive game in terms of development costs, and it's also a game that is for sure going to pack so much content into it that they can literally get away with charging basically whatever they want because they know that the expectations are so unbelievably high that people are just gonna buy it no matter what the cost is. We're already seeing games right now that are being delivered 48 hours early if you pay an extra $10 to $15, and people are eating it up. It's not something that the developer has to spend extra money on. There's no extra development cost that went to that. It's literally free money for them just because they're unlocking the game for you 48 hours early. And you're gladly spending $10 for it. I just did it for Ceros because I wanted to get my hands on the game early, and I'm having a great time with it. Do I regret spending an extra $10? No, I don't. But does that mean that the game for me in Canada was $99.99? Yes, a $100 game. So you're telling me that if Rockstar came around and said, hey, we're going to release Grand Theft Auto 6, the regular edition of the game will be, let's say even $10 more, $89.99 USD. And then they say, we're going to release a special edition where you get 1 week early access, a whole week, and it's $149.99. You're telling me that that version isn't going to sell 1 million copies instantly? It's a guarantee. They can almost charge whatever they want for this and get away with it. Sure, it'll make a lot of people upset, and a lot of people have a lot of negative things to say about Rockstar and about Grand Theft Auto and about Take-Two. That's a given. Because of course, as soon as you start charging more, they start calling you greedy, they start calling you a money-grubbing whore, and of course, they're pissed that you're trying to take their precious dollars away. Of course, nobody wants to spend more money when they don't have to. But Rockstar is offering something that most people aren't. Like what Strauss Zelnick said, what we think about is making the most spectacular piece of entertainment on Earth in history. And that's the kind of expectations that you need to have for GTA 6. This should be the greatest, most expansive, and most deep game in the history of games. It should have the highest quality cutscenes, the highest quality graphics, the best gameplay experience, the most engaging story, the most deep level of systems that you've ever experienced. You think Red Dead Redemption 2 had it crazy? Well, GTA 6 is gonna blow everybody away because the game cost them $1 billion, so it has to be good. And it's taken them like 15 years to develop, so it has to be good. And when you have that kind of expectations riding on the shoulders of this game, and you have something that costs so much, you want to recoup your costs. And even though, thanks to a leak recently, we know that GTA and Rockstar make like $15 million a week just from shark cards, so of course they're going to make millions upon millions upon millions of dollars through GTA 6 and the release of GTA 6 Online, which will likely come a month or so after the launch of the game. But they're always chasing the dollar. These big corporations, Take-Two, you think they don't want to see a massive boost of income right at the beginning where they can charge something bigger than everybody? It wouldn't surprise me if this was the game that boosted game prices by an additional $10 and set the games industry on fire and basically gave everybody permission to follow those footsteps and start charging more. Except the difference is that with Rockstar, they put in the time, they put in the development costs, and they put out a product that is going to be surefire a 10 out of 10. So it makes sense that they're charging more. Whereas it doesn't really make sense that the next Tales of Symphonia or whatever is going to cost more. It doesn't really make sense that the next Dynasty Warriors is going to cost more. It doesn't really make sense that WWE can release their special edition that's like $250. It doesn't really make sense, and it's why there's outrage for that kind of stuff, because people feel like they're being ripped off. People feel like they're not being offered something that actually makes it worthwhile to them to spend the extra money. But with Rockstar, you have that. And I think there are a few other studios and publishers that can get away with that. Tears of the Kingdom on Switch 2 in Canada is like $115. Donkey Kong Bonanza, I think, is $110. Nintendo's already pushing, and it's working because people are buying the games. I'm buying the games. And yeah, there are a lot of people that won't buy it at that price, and that's totally fair. And for everything other than Nintendo games, you can wait, and it will go on sale within sometimes even weeks, and you'll be spending a lot less than you would have on launch day. And if you look at the history of Grand Theft Auto, there are times when this game not only was free, that it was like $4.99. So I guarantee you, if you don't want to buy GTA 6 on launch for $120 or whatever, you can wait a couple months and probably get it 40% off. Nintendo, you can't, because they don't put things on sale, and when they do put things on sale, it takes like 10 years. But for everybody else, you can get it on sale, and you can get it for a lot cheaper. And I think From Software can charge more. I think Naughty Dog can charge more. I think certain Nintendo games can get away with it, like Zelda and Donkey Kong and Mario. And I think Rockstar can charge more, and that's pretty much it. I think everybody else, if you try and jump on the extra price bandwagon of like, this is the new bar for game prices, I think you're gonna get in a lot of shit, and there's gonna be a lot of pushback. Borderlands tried it. They tried to raise their price, and the internet shit on them so quickly and so heavily that they were forced to reduce it because it was a bad move. Nobody's spending extra on Borderlands, but I think people will gladly spend extra on GTA 6, especially if they get to play it early. We can tell that these early access versions are working because they keep doing them. If they didn't work, they wouldn't do them, but they do it for almost everything now. So they must be selling a lot. And Rockstar could get away with charging more than everybody else, not only for the bonus edition, but for the just regular release. It's scary on one hand because, of course, we don't want to see game prices going up. That's not something that literally anybody wants. In fact, most people want game prices to go down. But realistically, games technically should be like $150 now, if we're being totally honest. And if we're basing it on the rising cost of literally everything else, if chips were $4 like 5 years ago, and now they're $8, that's double the price. Games, no difference, except between that time, they cost like an additional $50 million to make. I know people don't want to spend more. It sucks to spend more, but Rockstar might be changing the game here. Because when you really think about it, how much should the most spectacular piece of entertainment on Earth in history actually cost? $100? $120? $150? Even $200? I don't think they'll do that, but I don't think it's like out of the realm of possibility in their minds. If anybody can do it, it's them. And I don't want other people to take that as their permission to do the same thing, but with the way everybody's doing things and greed and corporations going crazy for chasing dollars, somebody's gonna try it. And then it's gonna backfire, and then they'll change their minds, but somebody is gonna try it. And Rockstar might be the first ones. They might be shifting the industry, not only in terms of the quality of games and what people expect from AAA games, they might be shifting the industry in terms of the amount of money that people are gonna be required to spend in order to play games on day one. Everything is in Rockstar hand right now. Everything. The future of the games industry is in their hands, and all we can do is wait and see what happens. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I really appreciate it.